Joyce Familiari, your host at Escuela. Today, in our season 2, finally I'm going to wrap up episode 1, parts 3 and 4 in a single video. As you remember, I have done parts 1 and 2 several months ago. By the way, this episode is about artist talk, what I do, why I do it, and how I do my artwork. So finally I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for your patience, for standing by with me, and for my new viewers and subscribers, I thank you so much. I hope you would stay until the end of this video. And to everyone, this message is for you because I'm going to announce an important information that will benefit all my subscribers who are art enthusiasts and aspiring artists. Yeah, so thank you so much. God bless you. See you around. Creating a complicated composition of sea waves or any images may sometimes become overwhelming even for seasoned artists. That's why we always keep our intention clear first and start with a systematic approach by simplifying the structure of the composition to avoid any wasted time, effort, and art supplies. There are a variety of techniques and approaches in painting of a sea wave. My suggestion here is just one of the many proven techniques. As you practice in your discipline in painting, along the way, you may discover ways and means on how to simplify the process of your composition that can be uniquely used for your convenience. When you find a system, please share it to us. That's what this Artsy community is all about. Alright, let's jump to the main topic: how to simplify the composition of sea waves. Create an underpainting. An underpainting will set the tone and temperature of your chroma or color. It helps to identify the values easily. It helps to prevent harsh lighter value and highlight, and it reduces heavy shadow. In short, it enables an artist to map all the values or the tones from the light to dark. It also helps in creating depth in the dimension of your plane or ground or canvas. What I usually do when I want to create a warm and more translucent value, I use the cadmium yellow light, but most often I use burnt sienna, which has a more orange chroma and it's warmer. When I want to create a more classical look or cliché, I use the gray or gray-green underpainting, and on skin tone I use light yellow-green. And when I want my composition to look cooler in temperature, I use a cool tone of red such as alizarin crimson. But when my composition is already warm, I usually use the complementary color of it. For example, if the chroma of my composition is pink, I'd use a light blue such as cerulean with more white, or a very light yellow-green. Number 2, divide the plane of your canvas into quadrants, or sometimes you may use a grid. This will enable you to locate the space of the images or the parts of your composition. And here is an example of a grid. Some artists can directly paint the outline or contour of the images on the canvas, and that is great. Actually, Vermeer is believed to have painted the girl with the pearl earring from alla prima, or a thin buildup of glazes of paint. Alla prima also is the base of most of my work, and translucency by glazing of very thin layers of paint. That's my favorite painting technique, but I often do a pencil drawing first at the initial stage of my process, and then I glaze it with thin layers of paint. Well, it's actually liberating sometimes to just attack the canvas without too much thinking by alla prima. For my non-artist viewers or who are not familiar with the term alla prima, it is a technique in painting. The term alla prima is taken from the Italian phrase meaning at first attempt, and it is a painting technique done in one layer in one sitting. I got this information from shellyhannafineart.com. But even with some master artists or painters, they would start with the outline, and they would build their work as sometimes wet on wet, or while the paint is wet, which is not necessarily done in one sitting. We can have another talk for the aforementioned technique in other episodes. Okay, number 3. Identify the overall shape, dominant lines, rhythm, dimension, and direction, and point of view of your composition. Check if the dominant shapes or lines or mood of your sea waves are circular, rectangular, spiral, or jagged, or heavy, or thin, or thick, or broken. Is the rhythm soft, flowy, blasting, calm, or jovial? Is it a receding seascape or top view, bird's eye view? Are the lines bold or lost and found? And, well, is it all just impressions? Number 4, build up from a glaze or very thin paint. Like what I've mentioned, you can start from alla prima, but not necessarily that you have to do it in one sitting. Okay, then from the glaze, build it up into more layers of paint. Keep in mind the simplified shapes and lines of the images of your sea waves. Or for example, if it is an apple, keep in mind that an apple has a spherical shape with concave lines and some bumps. Those smaller details can be added in the latter part of the stage, and in the case of a sea wave, it's wiser to first paint the middle value and then the lighter and dark value, like in a patch, then just blend the edges to weave or stitch together these values seamlessly. 5. Decide which part of your composition is the focal point or the center of your imagery. Then you may start from there. It will be easier to paint over the parts near it. Number 6. Since we're trying to create an illusion of water, my advice is to apply the translucency technique, which is a layering of multiple paint strokes, or glazing. That exactly it is. Make it a gradual build-up. If you're using an acrylic paint, you may start with a watery, multiple layers, and then eventually pure acrylic. Use a dry brush at the end layer, but gradually as well. I often use 2 brushes when working. One is the working paint brush, the one I use to build the images with a paint, and another one is a blender. I call it blender, which usually it is a dry brush. I use this round tip brush to produce smoother edges. I use it to tone down harsh lines. Number 7. Then, if your composition has sea foams or bubbles, paint those last together with the smaller details, such as the water splashes or water bubbles in the air. Here's how I create the water splash in this painting and the small sea foam. Lastly, always step back farther from your canvas and spot which part of your composition needs attention, or which is already visually pleasing, or that has been completed. So every now and then, you step back. So that's it for today. I hope I was able to share some information that are beneficial to you. Do consider subscribing if you find this video helpful or inspiring. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and please share the link to your friends, because in that way, YouTube may elevate the presence of my content in their algorithm so that many more will be able to see my channel and the information that I get to share through this platform. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next episode, God bless you.